Fam, what is going on? It is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Can I get a roll tide inside the comment box? I appreciate you guys for being here today on the show, the day after Alabama's 41-34 victory over the Georgia Bulldogs. Yo, if your heart was pounding towards the end of that game, hit the thumbs up on this video. Here to walk you through it, provide what we learned. Also want to take your calls this morning on this beautiful Sunday, September 29th. I appreciate you guys being here. Have a lot of gratitude for just being here and also for that game last night for Alabama coming out on top. When we just look at the key particulars of this game, Alabama wins 41-34. Jaylen Milroe, 374 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jaylen Milroe, 117 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Ryan Williams, just a freshman, 6 receptions for 177 and a touchdown. Carson Beck threw for 439 yards and 3 touchdowns, also had 3 interceptions. Etienne had 12 for 55 yards and a touchdown. Aaron Smith, 6 for 132. Yo, that game last night, you know, it was a tale of two halves, and there was freshman heroics at the end. The Heisman hopeful, Jaylen Milroe, became the Heisman favorite after that game. I mean, there was some big-time plays in that game, and big-time players rise up in big-time games, and that's what you saw from Alabama towards the end of that point. Look, I didn't come up with this. I was just kind of perusing social media before I jumped on, and I saw Funny Man. He was like, man, they must hate Alabama in Athens. And I was thinking about it, man, you look to everything that has happened between Alabama and Georgia within the last couple years. I mean, these have been some absolutely crazy endings to games, and games that have been almost historic type endings, right? You look at what happened when, I don't know, I'll just throw out a couple. You throw out Tua, right? The come from behind. And Georgia fans have been so hopeful to be able to beat Alabama so many different times over the last few years, right? You look at they think they're going to win the national championship game. Coach Saban rolls out Tua Tagovailoa, throws a 2nd and 26 to Smitty, right? You get the SEC championship game. Tua goes out. They're like, we got this game. Jalen Hurts comes in, wins that game in the SEC title game. I mean, you look at last year's SEC title game when they thought they were the favorite in that game, right? And you have Jaylen Milroe put the team on his back last night. Georgia fights back valiantly. That was an impressive comeback. My goodness. And Alabama comes up and grabs back the win to win 41-34. It's probably the college football game of the year. I don't know how you're going to overtake that. I mean, everything that happened throughout that game was impressive. There's a lot of question marks. I'm gonna go through it all. The first 2 quarters of it, the first quarter and the second quarter, yo, that was the best college football team, period. Nobody wants that team at all. What we saw from Alabama in quarters 1 and 2, that's the number 1 team. Now, credit Kirby Smart in Georgia. I don't know. I didn't really agree with the second half play calling, but something happened in the second half. I didn't like it. They lack momentum. Georgia fights back, actually takes the lead in this game. But anyways, let's dive through a couple things that we learned in this game. When you look at the stat stars and kind of bring it up on full monitor, you see we talked about Jaylen Milroe in his epic game. On the defensive side, Deontay Lawson, 10 tackles, and Damani Jackson, who played fantastic last night, has 7 tackles in an interception, his first interception of the season. For Georgia, we talked about the fact that Carson Beck threw for 439. He also threw for 3 interceptions. It was Alabama's defense really came with it, forcing 3 turnovers. Etienne, we talked about him. Aaron Smith had an amazing game. And Damani, that is Dan Jackson for Georgia. He had 10 tackles, and the Malachi Starks had 8 tackles as well. I didn't know like how many yards Carson Beck was going to throw for in this game. I would imagine I think like draft picks said, 250. The guy throws for 439. He had only thrown for 680 yards through the first 3 games of the season, nearly post 500 yards against Alabama. This is impressive. Coach Jaylen DeBoer versus the top 10, right? We talked about this, and even Reese Davis of College Football Game Day said this is not his first rodeo, right? It's not. As a head football coach, Jaylen DeBoer is now 13-2 against ranked opponents. That's ultra impressive. The mark includes a 5-1 record against teams ranked in the top 10. All right. On the other side, Kirby Smart is now 1-6 against Alabama. So is this an Alabama type thing? Like, I don't know. Probably not. But, yo, if you want to beat the man, you got to beat the man, and he can't beat Alabama. You know, he's got the title, but other than that, like, what, Alabama's won the last 7 of 8 matchups, something like that, right? That is, last, whatever, 6 out of 7 or whatever. Jaylen Milroe in this game, put it on overdrive. There shouldn't be any type of haters out there about this young man. Like, if you were kind of on the fence or you didn't have, the best opinion about Jaylen Milroe, I mean, first, like, you must not know the growth and development and the maturation of this guy. And to see what he was able to do during that first 1 and 2 the quarters of the game, it was crazy. He should have gone 12 for 12. I guess that was an incomplete pass, the ball that, hit the dirt. I mean, it was. So he was 11 and 12. Starts out 11 of 11. But the guy has, like, game stats within the first 2 quarters of the game. When you look at what he did, 374 yards passing, right? Stands for a new career best, surpassing his previous high of 321 set way back when they lost or when they beat Texas A&M. That's when he went crazy, him and Jermaine Burton, right? You know what? Everybody was like, where are those intermediate passes? He did that. Where are those, the deep ball? It was there this time. He could run the football. I mean, Kirby Smart, like he knew what was coming at him in this game, couldn't stop it. And I guess what? There's not going to be, I don't think there's going to be a program in college football that can stop Jaylen Milroe. How are you going to stop him? And then don't even get me started on all the weapons that they have. My goodness, all right? So, yeah, this hoodie right here, this is the Ryan Williams hoodie. This is tight. There's also, I'm trying to get this black one as well because you can get them at Athlete's Thread, and I think Breaking T has one as well. More on Jaylen Milroe. And he threw the ball to 11 different receivers last night, right? Running backs, tight ends included. C.G. Dupree got fed. Robbie Oots got fed. Jam Miller caught a touchdown. Jeremy Bernard, Kendrick Law, Kobe Prentice, Jeremy Bernard, and, of course, Ryan Williams. He fed everybody, man, right? It was like Thanksgiving out there. He was feeding everybody. What's up? I see you guys coming to us from Germany. Tyler, what's going in? Good morning to everybody, by the way. Good morning to everybody that's on the show. I appreciate you guys being here. All right. Big offense from Alabama. Milroe's 117 yards this season, becomes a season high, and are his most in a single game since November 11th, 2023 against LSU. All right. So, I mean, what he was able to do through the air, through the ground, the arsenal is coming all over. Like, trying to stop him, good luck. And look, I get it. There's a lot of design runs. It's going to cut into the carries for Justice Haynes and for Jam Miller. I don't think in every game, but I think in this particular game, Georgia wanted to stop the run, which I think they did. They stopped Jam and Justice. They didn't stop Jaylen Milroe, and Jaylen Milroe still took advantage of them throughout the game throwing the football. 11 different receivers with reception. That is a crazy stat. 100%. Appreciate you guys being here. By the way, this hat, 4 + 2 = 6. Ryan Williams came up with this after the first game of the season. And then Alabama was able to print this out. And then I went on Athlete's Thread and I got the 4 + 2. The only negative about this hat is it's not really crimson. It's kind of red, but I still think it vibes with the show vibe. So, here we are. Can't stop Jaylen Milroe. Can't. All right, this season he has 964 yards passing and has rushed for 273 yards, which is a total of 1,237 yards. He is also accounted for 18 touchdowns, man. Like, he's going off. All right. Look, I know Cam Ward, very talented quarterback. Look, what Cam Ward did against Virginia Tech in some fourth quarter heroics, I thought that was impressive too. The little shovel pass, like that guy's a playmaker, right? Virginia Tech is not Georgia. Like, there's a difference between like that stage and the stage that was at Bryant-Denny Stadium, right? Like, no offense, but, this is a different level. But with that said, Cam Ward, very talented. Travis Hunter, very talented. Jaylen Milroe against Georgia, I mean, that's a different level. This is a different league. To be performing at this level is different. If he's not number one and the favorite to win the Heisman Trophy whenever it comes out, and I know it's an individual award, but man, if anybody has gone through the naysayers weekly basis, it is this guy. And this guy has got it from, I've been on the train for a long time. But the national media, I think they've been split. I think there's more people that are starting to buy in. I can't even imagine the ratings on this game last night. What? 11 million? How many were watching the Miami game? Probably a little bit at the end because it was close and people were, hoping that the Hokies could pull off the upset. But man, there's two different things, right? The ACC is not built like the SEC, and nobody is built like Jaylen Milroe. Man, this guy, what he's been able to do, just unbelievable. Absolutely, just that's the best game we have seen from Jaylen Milroe. Now, the second half, I don't know what the hell was going on with the play calling. I don't know if their headsets stopped working or I'm going to get to this later, but I have to say this now. Like, you don't need the gadget plays, bro. Like, you don't. You were moving the football like you were doing what you wanted to do against Georgia. You don't need the gadget plays. Like, save a gadget play for, like, later on down the season or whatever. You need, like, a spark. You don't need the gadget plays. You ran, like, 3 gadget plays against Georgia. The one that I guess I liked was when, like, Jaylen Milroe, like, walked off and the direct snap. But, like, why are you trying to have Kendrick Lau throw a touchdown pass? Why are you doing a triple reverse pass when you're up 30-7? Like, don't get cute with it, bro. Just run the football. Keep working the field with Jaylen Milroe. Like, no need for the gadget plays. I think that I honestly think that took 10 points off the first half. I think the score should have been 40-7 at halftime. That's just what I'm saying. And I'll talk more about that later on the show. I want your feedback. I'm going to take some calls too today. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being here. Got the 4 + 2 = 6 and got the Ryan Williams hoodie on today. Yo, Brian, I think you make a good point. I've been saying this all along. I think that's just the first time that these two, that was round 1, right? I think we'll see round 2. Ole Miss lost, right? Who knows what's going to happen between Georgia and Texas? Yo, Georgia still has to go play Texas in Austin and has to go play Ole Miss. Jarvis, 100%, man. I definitely think Alabama left points on the board, specifically in that first half. Yeah, Myron, what? Come on, man. Like, you don't need the trick plays, the fancy stuff, man. Just the normal offense with these guys works. You don't need to get complicated. He's just a freshman. Ryan Williams, 462 yards, leads all freshman wideouts. Well, he has 5 receiving touchdowns, share the nation lead among rookie players. You got the Ohio State wide receiver who's absolutely doing work as well, right? He's a little bit bigger than Ryan Williams. But I think in terms of playmaking ability and what this guy is able to do in key moments, like what we saw last night and what we're seeing from Ryan Williams, like I want you guys to, and I think you guys understand it, we're watching greatness. And it's like kind of the early, this guy's like a baby plant, right? It was the juggling catch, that was unreal. I can't even imagine the pulse of the stadium, right? Okay, that was amazing. Come up with the big catch when you have all the momentum. But when you need to win the game, when your back is against the wall, when it is do or die, Jaylen Milroe goes right to Ryan Williams, right? One-on-one coverage, right? You put the ball and you're like, look, go get it. Was that a 50-50 ball? I don't know. It was one-on-one, whatever you want to call it. The adjustment that he made to the ball, I have a video breaking it down. I think, honestly, that is the dopest college football play I've seen. Right? You can go back and think about all these historic plays, and they're up there for sure. But that play, what we saw, and there was so much that goes into the play, right? He has to, number one, he has to get a good throw from Jaylen Milroe. He has to adjust to the ball, right, to where only he can catch it, keeps his feet in bounds, turns it up, has the 2 defenders coming to have peripheral vision. What did his eyeballs go sideways, right? And then he hits the brakes. The 2 dudes hug each other, right? He comes around, and then he stiff arms another guy. The one corner got cooked like, 3 times. He's ready for Thanksgiving. And then he runs into the end zone to give Alabama the lead. A 75-yard touchdown. Yo, this guy is just something else. Man. It's just impressive to see this, man. Like, it's not, impressive is not even the word. It's like phenomenal to like see this dude and what he's been able to do this season. Man, credit to him. What about his eye black? It said kill everybody. Yo, this dude, man. And he's a pro. He's a pro. You know, you could look at the, he has a really big personality, but he's a pro. And in crunch time, think we've seen it. And the other thing, too, how about Jaylen Milroe in crunch time? What, you want a 4th and 31? Okay, I'll throw a dot. What, you want to be down in the fourth quarter against Georgia, game on the line? I'll throw a dot, right? You want me to put my team on the back? I got it. Man, Jaylen Milroe in late game situation, A++++. Like if late game situation was like an attribute, he's like 99, 100. Late game, no problem. Crunch time, he's got it. All right, this offense, man, buzzsaw. That first half was crazy. That was probably the best first half of Alabama offense that I've seen since covering the Alabama football team, right? With 41 points on Saturday, Alabama has recorded 40-plus points in their first 4 games this season, the first time the Tide has done so since 2019. All right, you look at the team in 2019, you look at today's team. Look, that's credit to Jaylen Milroe, right? That's credit to Nick Sheridan up top designing plays specifically for Jaylen Milroe. Again, I have no idea what happened in the second half of that game. I'm going to rewatch it at some point in time. I want to hear from Nick Sheridan if he's asked about that, or Coach Kalen DeBoer. Maybe nothing happened. Maybe Georgia just, played better. That's a damn good football team. And before I move on, I want to say, Carson Beck's a warrior. I'm going to talk about him in a minute. But anybody in college football that would have thrown 2 interceptions and been called for an intentional grounding, the play in front of 103,000 to come back, to warrior up, and to come back and take the lead, man. And you guys hit on some great points. Clean pocket for Jaylen Milroe. He wasn't sacked at all yesterday. 0 sacks. There was a time I think they saw pressure was coming. Jaylen made a move, got up to the right and ran, but man, no sacks, clean pocket. I haven't even looked at the Pro Football Focus grades yet. Maybe I'll do that here in a second at the back end of the show. We'll look at the Pro Football Focus grades. But I got a couple more slides through, and I want to take a couple calls this morning. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being here. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday or have plans to. I know if those of you watching the NFL, enjoy yourselves. And for everybody that is, kind of dealing with the aftermath of the storm, our thoughts and prayers are with you. Let us know how we can help you, even if it's just, keeping you in our thoughts and prayers. We know it's bigger than football, and, so we will continue to keep you in our thoughts and prayers. Yeah, no bad snaps either, man. Man, that it looked good. Look, I talked about this stat, for the last 2 weeks. And once again, they came with it. This team on third down, man, right? The Tide defense held Georgia to 3 and 15 on third down conversions, as Alabama has allowed just 11 third down conversions in 64 attempts, 17% this season. I think that's number 1 in college football. All right? Number 1 in college football. You know what I'm about to talk about, though. Fourth down, Georgia was 5 of 5. All right? 5 of 5 on fourth down? No, that's credit to Carson Beck and, I guess Mike Bobo for drawing up some plays and for Georgia making some plays. But 5 of 5, I don't even know. When's the last time that's happened? But third down to defense, third down defense is going to win you so many games. And with a potent offense as Alabama has, that's it. That's the recipe for winning a national championship. Getting the offense back on the field, that's it. 3 interceptions for Alabama last night. The Alabama defense forced Carson Beck to throw 3 interceptions on the night. Damani Jackson, Jahad Campbell, and Xavier Brown recorded their first interceptions of the night or of the season. Damani Jackson, that interception was nice, right? He played so well. He definitely gets a game ball from me, right? Deontay Lawson led the team in tackles, game ball. Jahad Campbell, man, he looks like a tight end playmaker. I mean, you know what I'm saying? When he recorded that interception, he looked nice. And then number 2 for Alabama on offense is Ryan Williams. 75-yard touchdown reception from Jaylen Milroe, puts the team up. Now, look, Georgia did a good job. They attacked Xavier Brown. Xavier Brown was in a fight last night. They were targeting him, right? Georgia scored some. They targeted. They started attacking Alabama's secondary. But in a crucial moment of this game, when you had to step up. Xavier Brown, a freshman who's also number 2, comes up with the interception. Everything happens on that left end zone, right? That's where Smitty caught it. or in Georgia. And then Xavier Brown comes in with that interception. Made a great play on the ball. Great play on the ball. So 3 interceptions last night. Saw that swarm defense, right? A lot of it is schematics. And Coach Kane Womack said going into this game that Alabama couldn't sacrifice just sending pressure for coverage. And I think last night, because, Carson Beck did have plenty of clean pocket, like, situations in that game. But that also made the coverage, thick. And he threw interceptions because of it. So, Kane Womack, man, hats off to him. He's done a damn good job for Alabama. I get it. Look, Georgia battled. That I don't think that's the last time we see Georgia. They're going to Auburn next. And, I don't think that's the last time we've seen Georgia. All right. Okay. Here's upon further review. Now, what I'm going to add to this, I'm going to write this down. I got like a mini whiteboard right here. 0 sacks. All right. 0 sacks, that also needs to be added. So 0 sacks by the Alabama offensive line. Credit to the big boys up front, keeping Jaylen Milroe clean, giving him a pocket to be able to facilitate his throws down the field and be able to work against Georgia. Now, here are some things that stood out after the dust has settled. Let me know inside the comment box if I've missed anything on this board. Again, I just was working on this morning. This came to me, so, upon further review, add whatever kind of sticks out, and I'll add it for my Monday, for my big show on Monday. So right now I have, why the gadget plays in the first half. It put me in a foul mood because I feel like those plays, while I'm not against them completely, but not in a situation like that. I think, honestly, rather than giving Alabama more momentum, I think it killed momentum. And most importantly, I think it took points off the board. Plus, it got a player hurt. Kendrick Law, gadget play didn't get him hurt, but he got hurt on that play. We still don't know what the update is on Kendrick Law, who's had, honestly, just a crappy beginning of the season. He has 2 receptions. He got hurt. I don't know what will happen. I mean, he's a junior. He hasn't redshirted. I don't know, the severity of his injury. We'll find out more on Monday from Coach Kalen DeBoer. This team gets a lot of penalties. I think there's some stat out there where Coach Kalen DeBoer's teams, while they're so good, they got a lot of penalties. Is that kind of a thing? We didn't see, the penalties seemed to decrease against Wisconsin, but there was a lot of penalties against Western Kentucky, South Florida, and now against Georgia. I don't know if that's a theme. One of I think it was a personal foul that Tyler Booker got. He shoved the kid down while the play was going. I didn't agree with that. And Lance, I don't know what the update is on Tim Keenan. So we'll keep you updated when we hear from Coach Kalen DeBoer, which will be on Monday. But 10 penalties, and frustrating type penalties. Georgia had 3 offensive pass interference calls. And Coach Kalen DeBoer, my last point before I don't want to jump to it, but he has a fire in his belly. I've never seen him that pissed off. That was when Journey Bernard was being bear hugged, basically, and couldn't have an opportunity to the ball. That killed the drive too. He was livid. I saw everyone on the sideline oh, Coach is mad. He was fired up. I'd never seen him like that. I think I saw Jamarcus Shepard on I think it was one of the Alabama wide receivers was called for a false start. I think I saw Jamarcus Shepard slam his headset on the ground. That was the first headset we've seen slammed. All right. The third down defense, elite. Best in the country. But what the hell happened on 4th down? 5 of 5? Man. That's that. I don't like that. That hurts. You get 1 4th down, maybe 2, but 5 of 5, that's how teams stay in the game. And Georgia outscored Alabama 27-11 in the second half. Look, credit to Georgia for not just, that game could have very well went off the rails. That's a sign of a good coach. That's a sign of a good quarterback leader. That's a sign of just a really good football team. That's a sign of a playoff team. You go into the halftime down 30-7 at Bryant-Denny Stadium. There's like 1% chance you could. It was. Remember I was showing last night on the show. There was a 99% chance at halftime that Alabama wins the game. 1% chance you come back and win. 1%. And Georgia came back and took the lead. Took the lead in this game. Now, the play calling, they lost the momentum. The play calling was really bad. There was a really long drive by Georgia. The secondary started to get eaten up. I don't know. The second half, like the first half was at like a 9 out of 10. And the only great things that happened in the second half, I think only 3 positives in the second half. Just 3. I think it was a Deontay Lawson quarterback sack. I think it was like pressure up the middle. I think it was Jaylen Milroe to Ryan Williams to reclaim the lead. And the other thing was Xavier Brown's interception. Other than that, I don't know what else was positive in the second half. Like, Georgia won the second half and lost the game. Andy, no pressure, man. Like, they sent, at times they did send pressure on like obvious pressure situations. But other than that, man, they let him like clean pockets more than I thought they would. When Carson Beck throws for 439, what I don't have on here is that he threw 3 interceptions, right? And if you just sit back and you let this guy throw, like he's an accurate quarterback. At times, then again, he threw 3 interceptions, but you get what I'm saying. Credit to Georgia, man. Like that team, they could have bounced out. They could have left. You know what? Mac, you bring up a great point. Before I'm going to show the Pro Football Focus, then I'll take some calls. I'll probably be here till like 11. I got to go get, on Sundays, I go get groceries. I try to be back at 11:45. I am so rhythmic with my time. I go live on Sundays at 10, go to the grocery store, try to be back by 11:45 to set my fantasy football lineup, and then, sit up here and organize for my Monday show. But Mac, you know what Coach Saban said at halftime? He was like, he basically alluded to the fact that the season isn't completed from this game, but also that the game wasn't over at halftime. Like, you saw him upstairs, and not that he wasn't impressed. Like, he's seen these guys hundreds of times make plays, but the game wasn't over. Job's not done, and it wasn't. Georgia came back and took the lead. I would have never thought, never, that Georgia would have came back and took the lead. Credit to the Bulldogs, man. All right, let me bring up the Pro Football Focus stats, and then I'll take some calls, and then we'll bounce out right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being here. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Give me just 2 seconds while I bring up Pro Football Focus on my other screen. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was credit to Georgia. Did a really good job. That's a good football team. I don't think it's the last time that Alabama and Georgia meet, and Kirby Smart, people have high praise for him. They know he's a good coach. They know what he's capable of. They know the ecosystem that he's from. And, he's got a good coaching staff. He's got a great team. There was a lot of guys that were injured from that team as well. Do injuries matter in the game? Yeah, absolutely. But, they battled through it on the road. That's tough. Here's a look at the Pro Football Focus grades. We won't spend too much time on these. We'll look at more individual statistics on Monday during my long show. But if you're new to Pro Football Focus, anybody can subscribe to this and get, access to look at the player grades. Former coaches that played, players that were the NFL coaches, they now watch the games and they grade and give to Pro Football Focus. Gives us data points. As you can see, Jaylen Milroe up at the top. The total means that the total snaps in this game. Okay, so this is for the season. So let me go by game. Let's see if I can find this real quick. I was like, he didn't play 226 snaps against Georgia. All right. So you have all the games on here. So you're kind of looking at the interface right now of Pro Football Focus. Let me find that. Oh, here we go. All right. So Jaylen Milroe, and again, we're looking at Milroe. I'll zoom that in. All right, so you have Jaylen Milroe. The star indicates that he's a starter. Position is that he's a quarterback. He has 70 total snaps. Look at his grade, 90.9. That's the highest I think that Jaylen Milroe has graded out throughout his course, which isn't surprising to me. I mean, considering that, I think that was his best overall game. Third quarter, I don't know. That was just a weird. And the interception that he had, that wasn't even on Jaylen Milroe, in my opinion. That was more. I mean, CJ Dupree did catch, like, the ball hit his hands and it bounced off him, and then they intercepted it. So I don't even think the interception was really on Jaylen Milroe. Other guys who graded out high. I mean, Emmanuel Henderson only saw 6 snaps, which is interesting, but he had a grade of 87. The more snaps, the better the grade. The more accurate the grade. So the more snaps, the more accurate the grade. Ryan Williams, 66 for 81. Think of this in school, like an 80 would be like a A+. Like, that's how the grades are. Anything 90 is like NFL, like super elite, and 60s are more like 70s in school, and then 70s are more like, for example, like Kendrick Law in just 14 snaps. I'd like to see more snaps from him, clearly, but he got hurt. 78.9. Again, this is the first time that I've looked at the snaps as well. I'll sort it now by the number of snap counts. So Caden Proctor, 64.3. Elijah Pritchett at the right tackle position, 54.6. Parker Brailsford, 59.2. Lower than I thought they would be, but sometimes the offensive line certainly gets, graded out, and they're just data points. These aren't the end-all grades. Justice Haynes in 39 snaps, and then Jameer and Lathan just in 30 snaps. So grades a little bit lower than I thought they would be on the offensive side, but they're just data points for us to work with. Let me see the defense real quick, and then okay, total. Again, this is against Georgia, so we'll work our way from left to right. Keon Sabb played in 84 snaps, and he had a defensive grade of 43.3. Huh. And let's see if we can zoom out and see why. Oh, so his coverage grade, you're looking at the top, his coverage grade was 38.0, which is terrible, and his tackling was 24.6. So, I don't know, the coaches saw something that, 43.3, that's the lowest he's graded, probably in his whole career. Jahad Campbell, 78.3. Deontay Lawson, 53.4. That's low for him. Run defense, he was 76.4. Malachi Moore's grade, 75.2. Coverage grade at the far right is 78.2. Damani Jackson, 73.1. Red Morgan down here, 76.9. It's good to see. Xavier Brown right here. In 65 snaps, he had a grade of 66.6. Tackle, I saw him make some open field tackles, and then his coverage grade is 65.8. So they're data points for us to look at, and that's how to look at the Pro Football Focus grades. All right, I'm going to open up the call-in line. If you guys want to call and chat with me, I'd appreciate it. We can talk, you can give me your thoughts. We could play a little Sunday quarterback. Monday is my bigger show that is much longer, kind of leads into Coach Kalen DeBoer's press conference. So call-in line is open right now. We'll take a 334. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Man, this coach from Khalil, I ain't heard from you all season.
What's up, man? I appreciate you. Thanks for calling in, Coach. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, man. What's your Sunday morning thoughts on this game?
First of all, I'm going to tell people, I hear a lot of people on Facebook, they're saying that Bama got conservative play calling. I said, no, Georgia 5 and 4 stars got more aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia's a good football team. You can't underestimate them guys. Just how Bama came up in the game and got a big lead on Georgia. That momentum swing is hell in football.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like Georgia finally woke up. And Bama didn't lose. They grit. It's just Georgia caught up with Bama.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could have said, like, the gadget plays you were talking about earlier, I kind of wish they didn't call those plays. I feel like Bama didn't lead those gadget plays.
Mm-hmm.
But they went into this game with a game plan. As football coaches, we have a game plan.
Mm-hmm.
We watch film several hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
And there was the game plan to kind of anticipate Georgia being aggressive. But once Georgia got down 37, they weren't as aggressive no more. So those trick plays didn't work because Georgia lost some of their aggressiveness in that second quarter. But there was a tight game. Those plays that worked it.
Mm-hmm.
They just did not work when Georgia kind of came like conservative in the second half. Milroe played great. I've been waiting for that guy from North Alabama to call, the one that hate Milroe so much.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering what is he going to say now?
Right. I mean, that was obviously Jaylen Milroe's best game, and we continue to see him progress week by week. I mean, that was his best career performance in my opinion last night. Any other takes from that second half? Because the first half, man, I was talking with the fans. I'm like, this is the number one team in the country. The second half, like you said, you feel Georgia, kind of woke up, which I think they did, and clearly Kirby did a great job kind of making some adjustments. But any other takeaways from that second half of football last night against the Bulldogs?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Bama did some of the same stuff they did for the first half. In the second half, Georgia just adapted to what they was doing. Bama just handed the ball off to Jaylen Milroe and number 22. They still was throwing the football. Georgia coverage became tighter. Georgia flipped the edge. I asked every Friday for my football team, we must contain the edge. The team that contain the edges will win the ball game. I was like, in the first half, Bama contained the edges. Georgia controlled the edges in the second half. They did not give Alabama no room to breathe. Like I said, it's more Carson Beck. Yeah, they said, they tried to protect Carson Beck last year at the beginning of the year. They said, hey, Carson Beck, go out there and throw the football. We're going to go for it every single down. And when you said there was 5 for 5 on fourth down, a lot of penalties, a lot of ticky-tack penalties kept those drives going.
That's true.
I thought the referees kind of controlled that game in the second half because that was great on third down. Usually in games, those are punts coming up next. Georgia was going for it on their own 25 and 30-yard line. It's just aggressiveness. Bama still was aggressive. Georgia just was a little more aggressive. In a game like that, it was like you couldn't sit back and say, oh, Bama never came back. No, Georgia came back. Bama didn't allow them to do anything. Georgia's more aggressive. They're playing houseman in the second half. And I feel like that game going to help Georgia and also going to help Bama. Bama got to know now, we got to score 50.
Yep.
You can't sit there with a lead and say, oh, the game over with. We got to take a team completely out. I've seen 2 times in football this year where teams come back. And I feel like Bama kind of said, okay, we're going to sit on the clock. That's a little bit. We're still going to run our offense. But I feel like they got too worried because Georgia came too aggressive.
Yep, I appreciate the call, Coach. Good feedback. I like that point on the second half, man. Call again, Coach. Talk to you soon. Thanks, Coach, calling out from Calera. I actually went there. That was my first time going out to Calera this past year. I watched Northridge and Calera play in high school football. 973, Chris from New Jersey. You're up next. Chris, what's up, man? Welcome on in the show, man. Glad you're joining us, man. Your take on the game last night. Go ahead.
Kyle, happy Sunday. Well, listen, if you want to cut and paste my my Jaylen Milroe rant, why he's the best player in the country, you have my permission. Put that out there. My take, is not, is similar to the coach, but let's talk about coaching, and let's say this: what makes a coach great? Parcells. Belichick learned it from Parcells. Walsh out in San Francisco. Certainly Nick Saban, our GOAT, right? Our GOAT is halftime adjustments. Nick Saban in a national championship game made a quarterback change. The balls, Kyle, to do that is why Saban's the greatest ever to do it, right? Now I think you have to look at Alabama and say, this is going to be a massive learning experience for the team. Sure. More so for DeBoer, Sheridan, and Womack.
Yeah.
They were completely outcoached by Kirby. Now, listen, Kirby Smart was with Saban for 10 years. He understands halftime adjustments.
Yeah.
They made they made great halftime adjustments, and we didn't. And what's great is if you listen to DeBoer's, chatter after the game, not his press conference. Yeah. He said, we have to do a better job of adjusting to their adjustments.
Yes.
So it's on their radar. So this was a great game for Alabama as a team, but I think this is an even better game for the coaches. Now, we remember Sheridan. He's never been a full OC, right? I mean, this is new to him. This is going to be a big learning experience. Womack just got introduced to great SEC coaches. Kirby Smart. That game plan for Kirby Smart, I'll give him all the credit in the world. That was. But what just happened with the grit, and why Milroe is the best player in the country is they answered under complete adversity. And, you and I can go on and on about Ryan Williams. We have since the day that he signed, Kyle. You and I were talking.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like you know, I don't know what the Dupree said about him about you know, one of the games. He's like Avatar from one of the games. That's how good he is. So, but you know, I think this game for Alabama it couldn't be better, because a complete blowout would not have been a learning experience. This is going to be a learning experience for the coaches more than the players, and which is great for Alabama. And now I'm going to tell you what I think about Bama right now, and is that Bama this is the tip of the iceberg. They're going to get you know, remember Saban was like, we didn't play a perfect game. This was you know, it was close to a perfect half. I didn't like those trick plays either.
No.
But it was close to being a pretty perfect first half. That non-call shows you the fire in DeBoer.
Hell yeah.
With the non-pass interference.
Yep.
So, and you're right. It could have been 37. It could have been even more.
Yep.
Than in the first half, and then there's no coming back even with the clock.
Yep.
But you know, I give it to Kirby and the staff. They made great adjustments, and we didn't. And now I'm gonna push back on some of the guys in the chat. Is not pressuring Carson Beck is a mistake. Did you see, like, sometimes they blitz Malachi Moore? It was like an interception and you know, incomplete passes. That guy is a good quarterback. He's going to be a first rounder. I don't think he's as good as people think he is. But if you hit him, you take him out of the game. Look, Kentucky was hitting him, and look, like he stalled. We didn't hit him, and we didn't, you know, look, when you got him out of you know, he fumbled when we stripped him. But you know, look, I couldn't be happier about this win. I think this is the best outcome you could possibly have, because of what a learning experience for the entire team, from the head coach, you know, to the punter. Everybody got a learning experience from this. So we should all be so happy that it's Sunday and we came out with a win. And you know, you have Vanderbilt. I am nervous about Tim Keenan. I hope you know that, and Law. I hope those guys are you know, can heal quickly, because you know, 2 weeks from now is Tennessee. So I think, Kyle, you know, you know, I'm going to continue to write Milroe equals Heisman. And I noticed, you know, Adams was missing. I fear is everything okay with him, because he was up in the flood zone.
Yeah. Well,
you know, Adam, if you're out there, we're thinking of you, and we're thinking of how great Milroe is. Short passes, baby. So listen, Kyle, have a great job with the show last night.
Thanks, man. Appreciate
I was screaming about the pressure, how we didn't pressure him. You know, after he started picking us apart and we didn't give him any pressure, I was like, you know, I was like, Womack. Oh, by the way, you know, I know some guys were like, oh, Womack's going to be gone. Womack's going nowhere. He needs another season or two. He's going to face great coaches, more great coaches. He's going to face the guy from Tennessee. So we've got, you know, he's got a lot of learning. If he wants to be a head coach, he should stick around for a couple more years. And by the way, I love DeBoer. DeBoer, he could be the next Saban, yeah, but he's got a lot of learning to do first, Kyle. So, you know, I know you and I say Saban 2-0, and which could be. But he's got some learning to do. He's got, you know, the halftime adjustments are on him. He's supposed to go to Sheridan. What are you going to do? Kirby's going to adjust to your first half game plan. What are you going to do to adjust? Womack, what are you going to do? Are you going to? Why are we not pressuring? Why are we letting this guy sit back and pick us off? Oh, and you know, I think one last thought is, and I saw you reading those folks the pro grades. Saab, he got burned on several plays in the second half, more than than Xavier Brown, and I'll say one is if anybody does a rewatch, Beck had a great pump and he bought it, and that's what led to that touchdown. So that was a tough play, but listen. They took the lead, and look at the grit of this team to come back. And Ryan Williams, come on, Kyle. So listen, that's me ranting for the day. Milroe for Heisman. Great win, great show. My best to you, and the undefeated, and happy Sunday. Roll Tide.
All right, Roll Tide to you, man. That's Chris out in New Jersey, 865-678 and 251. You're up next right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I do like the point that Chris said about the coaching staffs, because going into this game, each of the coaching staffs kind of hit on this point that Coach Kalen DeBoer and his staff, they're brand new, right? This is a whole new system. This is a whole new coaching staff, right? Top to bottom, other than you have Freddie Roach and Robert Gillespie. On the flip side, Georgia, those coaches have been together for a while, adding on T-Rob, right? And I think that is a good sign of, the two coaches. Like, how do you coach when you're up 30-7 against Georgia? How can you maintain that level of excitement and keep your team playing on the right trajectory? How are you dealing with adjustments? Georgia, not that anyone's ever been beating them 30-7, but they understood that the game wasn't over. That's a sign of an amazing coaching staff. Credit to Kirby and those guys for having fighting. And the champ says, did I notice if Ryan Williams changed his picture to Mike Vick? Yo, I did. That guy is built different, man. Like, if they x-rayed him, I don't know what would be inside of him, because that guy he's phenomenal. And he's got, like, to kill everybody. He's a warrior. Like, don't get it twisted, man. There's not a lot. Like, that guy might be the most special player along with Jaylen Milroe in all of college football, and he just got here. Tobias, what's up? I see you coming from Germany, man. 865, let's do it. Hey, Angel, what's up, man? I appreciate you calling in. You doing all right from the storms up in Pigeon Forge?
Yes.
All right, good.
Everything's going down for me most of the part.
All right, man. Come with it, man. Your take. Go ahead.
Yeah. It was shocking, though, because, how bad we played in the second half. It wasn't pretty. But I really do think that we're going to improve after this game, because this is a learning experience curve for us. And I really do believe in this coaching staff. And I do believe in Kane Womack. But we got to clean that up. That's got to be taken care of. And Sab, he's got to show up next time. But there's many more opportunities down the line for everybody to improve. Never stop learning. And for Jaylen as well, he's done pretty well. He's the biggest game of the season right here. And I do hope that we don't do more trick plays, because we don't need that. We don't need that, because that can screw people over in the game, especially our defense and our offense. And I really do believe in Coach Kalen DeBoer. He had that fire going through him about that PI pass interference that was not called.
Yep.
And also Jamarcus Shepard throwing the headset down. Oh my goodness, man. Sign that guy up to be on keep him forever, man, because I really do like their intensities to this game, because, man, they are something else. And Nick Sheridan, though, like, he's got to learn more, which that will happen. He's definitely better than Tommy Reese, and I really do believe that. But on Wednesday, I'm going to ask Coach Kalen DeBoer about the second half and all that, and the Nick Sheridan, why we didn't run the ball down more. And because it felt like it was a wasted opportunity, but I really do believe we're going to get better opportunities in the season, especially next week against Vandy before Tennessee. Because I'm getting tired of hearing Tennessee fans every single day. It's getting really annoying.
Yeah, I bet.
But anyway, Kyle, you have a good nice day, man.
All right, man. We're all tied to you, man. That's Angel up in Pigeon Forge. Appreciate you calling in, man. Thank you so much. Calling line is 205-850-1994. Kyle Anderson, Bama Football on YouTube, 678-25. 909. I'll get to you guys next right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I'm supported by Super Chats, by guys like you, women like you out there watching the program. If you want to become a fan funder, $2.99. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a content creator, talk Alabama football. All the graphics that you see are cooked up in-house, which I really appreciate, and I put a lot of time and effort into the graphics. I want to make sure that it's aesthetically pleasing, right? Like, I'm a visual type person. I hope you guys, like the graphics. Also on Facebook, Instagram, just Mr. Kyle Henderson, TikTok. These are available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well. 678, let's do it. Hey, thanks for calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from? Hey, 678, you're on. All right, call back, 678-251. Let's do it. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, man, this is Tyler calling from the Mobile area, not too far from Ryan Williams, where the land is, actually.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Did you say Tyler?
Yeah, Tyler.
Tyler, all right, what's up, Tyler? Tyler's calling in from L.A., Lower Alabama, man. Come with it. Welcome to the show, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man, Hollywood really come in like it was a game for the freshmen. I guess two takes from this: double moves, a lot of stutter and goes, a lot of in and ups. Felt like they were biting on a lot of stuff early on. Is it just me, or did it seem like the tempo was really kind of upbeat in the first half, but they really slowed things down in the second half? Time management towards the end really seemed a bit odd. You got probably about 3-4 minutes or so left in the game. Had we not overcome, say, with like the Ryan Williams play late in the game, discussion probably would have been about, well, did DeBoer maybe mismanage the clock a little bit? They really didn't try to control the tempo and keep Georgia maybe off the field.
I noticed that too. I did. To hit on that point, I did notice that because Alabama did have the football, late in the game before they punted to Georgia, and Georgia took, and they took the lead. I was kind of wondering about that time of possession as well, if Alabama could somehow sustain the drive to kind of milk that clock. Thankfully, Alabama was to hit on a big play, but I did think about that as well. In the second half, I think Coach from Calera called earlier, and he brought up a good point that I've been thinking about now. It did seem like the officials had an impact in that third quarter. There was a drive that Georgia had. It was 10 plays, but only went 21 yards, but Georgia continued to move the football, which I think eventually led to some points, but there was a lot of penalties that kept drives moving. But go ahead, Tyler. You continue, man.
Yeah, man, I couldn't agree more. The second half, from a defensive perspective, you had one of the backers kind of did a stutter and go, was able to get the backer to bite, which was kind of ironic considering we did something very similar to that in the first half. Didn't see quite as many blitz packages and disguises really kind of put out there from a Womack perspective. I felt like they gave that way too much time. When they did, he was able to kind of dissect things. Back shoulder throws were huge, especially with Brown. They kind of outsized him. Receivers like 6'3". Were able to get him to basically have over pursuit on the route. They'd run those verticals, keep running those verticals, and then dime it right there towards the sideline. And they were getting beat there. And then they were getting over aggressive safeties, where, say, like in the case for Saab, he stepped forward, was able to get him to bite on that, but there wasn't enough pressure on the quarterback. He had enough time to wait for that route to develop and was able to hit him on the backside. But I think the Law, going back to the offense, I think Kendrick Law kind of getting injured eventually became a big part of what we were initially doing in the first half. You would see you see somebody like Jaylen Milroe be able to catch the edge. I felt like he wasn't quite able to get the edge, mostly because the receivers just weren't sealing them off. And also, they have a tendency to pull the guard out, almost like a trap play, when they stretch things, and I feel like that was kind of getting blown up from time to time. But just getting the edge was a bit of an issue, and I remember Law at one point, I had to go back and rewind it. I think he probably pushed the receiver back 10, 15 yards. It was pretty impressive. So even though from a receiving aspect, probably not what we'd anticipate coming from Law coming into the season, from a blocking perspective, I think hands down he's the best person we got. So I'll be interested to see exactly how that plays out from an injury standpoint.
Yeah, and we'll keep you guys posted on any injury news that we got. I think we're tracking Kendrick Law and Tim Keenan following that game. But Tyler, I'm trying to run through a couple calls on the back end, man. But I appreciate the feedback from LA. Calling again, man. Thanks for calling in from the 251.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Kyle.
All right, man. Take it easy. That's Tyler out. He said the proximity near Ryan Williams, which is dope. We got a 909, and we'll take it right now. Hey, thanks for being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, what's up, Kyle? This is Steve from California.
Hey, Steve, I appreciate you calling in from California, man. Before you start and welcome into the show, Lance brings up a good point. And can you guys answer this in the undefeated just with a yes or no? Are you concerned with the kicker, Graham Nicholson? Type yes or no inside the comment box right now. To be honest, I kind of am. The field goal that he had, it made it by about this much. It almost hit the pylon. And before that, his other kick, he missed it against Wisconsin. So, look, PATs, no problem. But, that kick was too close. Steven, thanks for calling in from California, man. We're out in California.
Southern Cali, man.
Oh, yeah. We
over here about like San Bernardino, Riverside area.
Okay. Did we talk before? I can't remember. Anyways, man, welcome to the show. I appreciate you calling in from San Bernardino. San Bernardino, where you at? Come with it, Steven. Go ahead, man.
Okay. So big fan first and foremost. I just want to thank you, Kyle, for your time and your efforts.
Appreciate it, bro.
And just daily news from you. You know what I mean? I love it. Anyways, to the kicker, yes, I hold my breath every time that dude kicks a field goal. It's kind of shaky. We are spoiled, but, he's 1 for 1, right? So, it is what it is. Hopefully it doesn't come down to a field goal, but I know one of these games will. Look, I just want to say I'm proud of the team, man. Extremely, extremely proud of the team. I'm not going to be critical. Yes, we can be critical all day of mistakes we made, but at the end of the day, we won. Like, we beat Georgia. Right, that is the pinnacle of what the media says. The media says Georgia's the pinnacle of college football. We beat them, right? And really, except for us, I think we were the only ones that thought Alabama would win, right? So, man, we figured out a way to win at the end of the day. Extremely proud of the freshmen. Bro, we're only going to get better and better. And I'm excited about it, man. I'm extremely excited about it, and I just want to say I'm just proud of the team overall. Yeah,
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for calling, Steven. Appreciate you, man. Steven calling in from the San Bernardino area. Thanks, man. Roll Tide to you, man. You know what? Steven brings up a really good point regarding Alabama and Georgia, and that is, if we start, let's rewind to August, okay? What was everybody out there saying about Georgia and Alabama? Now, the summer line was 4.5 Georgia at Bryant-Denny Stadium, okay? People forget about Alabama, that Alabama really controls the series against Georgia. For whatever reason, like, Georgia fans have already forgot last night. It is the craziest thing. If these two teams meet again, for whatever reason, Georgia will probably be favored, and Georgia fans will, you should have seen them yesterday. They were so confident that they were going to be. I knew Alabama would win the game. I said that Alabama was the better team. Go back and check the receipts. That's not being fancy. I looked at the two teams playing, and I did gain a lot of respect going into the Georgia game after I watched some footage of them in the quarterback. But I knew Alabama was the better team. But it's amazing to see that Georgia continues to get all this notoriety when they don't beat Alabama. This doesn't happen. This hat, Ethan. I'm not sponsored by them, but it's Athlete's Thread. So if you type in Athlete's Thread, and then you can search this hat, that's where you get, and it took a little bit for shipping. It was it took 10 days. I got it way before. So, good luck. If not, I'll drop a link inside the comment box. All right. I'm going to take a couple more calls, and then I'm doing stuff like you guys are doing too. Because, I got things to do here on Sunday as well. And I appreciate you guys being here on Bama Football on YouTube. 682, you're up next. Hey, thanks for calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle, this is Charles. I'm calling in from Birmingham. It's a Fort Worth number, but I live in Birmingham.
All right, Charles coming in from Birmingham. I appreciate the call, man. Welcome on in. Come with it, man. Thanks.
Yeah, I was just wondering why they weren't pressuring Carson Bettmore last night. It was working during the first half, and I just got to say, Ryan Williams is that dude. They just need to change the jersey, the back of it, to that dude.
Yeah.
He's something special. That's scary, though. Just think what he's going to be in 2 years.
Charles, what were you thinking when he made that juggling catch?
I was like, this is going to be on Sports Center top 10 plays or whatever.
Who would have thought that would have been on top 10, and then to only be outdone by himself later on in the game when he catches a 75-yard? What were you thinking when you saw the replay of that and you saw the two Georgia defenders start hugging each other?
I've never seen a receiver do that before, make two DBs sub themselves.
But the thing that was crazy to me about that play was had like the peripheral vision to see the two defenders and to stop and for them to collide. Like this dude, you know what he has? Like, if you're a Star Wars fan, I'm really not, but I understand like the Force. Like, if you have the Force, you just know what is happening like in life. I guess he has it, man. He has something because this is crazy. What has been what were you thinking in the second half when, you know, it was frustrating because there was no momentum and Georgia, like, they just kept coming back again and again. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just like, why are we not able to stop them on the fourth down? I thought they were crazy for going for it every time on fourth down, but they just had to. It was like, dang, we can't stop these people for nothing right now.
Yeah.
So I was like, we need to put more pressure on them back. They weren't doing it. But they were playing a prevent kind of.
I have a couple options on the board right here. Gadget plays, 10 penalties. I need to add 0 sacks allowed from Alabama's offensive line. Georgia was 5 of 5 on fourth downs. Georgia outscored Alabama 27-11 in the second half. As you mentioned, you know, the limited pressure allowed Beck to throw for 439. With that said, Alabama sitting back in coverage made 3 interceptions. Jahad Campbell looked amazing when he caught that interception. I thought it was like a tight end or something out there. And then Kalen DeBoer, like the fire in his belly. What were you thinking when Coach DeBoer was because he has such a great demeanor, but he was rationally upset. Right? There's a difference between just being an idiot and being upset and being like rational, like that you can get mad about something. What were you thinking when you kind of seen him animated on the sideline?
I was like, great to see that. He has the fire in his belly when something goes wrong.
Yeah.
I was like, how did they not call that pass interference? And they're giving them the calls. How they like showed Ryan Williams out.
The guy was being. It was Jeremy Bernard. And he was being.
I thought it was Williams. Okay.
No, it was Jeremy Bernard, and he was being like basically like bear hugged, but on his head. It was like, man, that was crazy. All right, Charles, I appreciate you calling in from Birmingham. Call again, man, and again, my show tomorrow is at live at 10 a.m. I appreciate you calling in, man.
Okay, roll tide.
All right, roll tide to you, man. All right, 334, you're up next. Hey, what's up? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
It's Corey from Dothan.
Hey, I'm sorry, I missed your first name?
Corey.
All right, what's up, Corey? I appreciate you calling in, man. Calling in from Dothan, man. Come with it. Welcome to the show. I appreciate you being here.
What's up, Kyle, man? I enjoyed the show, man. Just want to let you know.
All right, thank you so much. And you know what? My wish to you and my wish to everybody inside the comment box and everybody out there is that you guys have an amazing Sunday, right? Like, if you got family around, spend time with your family. You got your kids, spend time with your kids. If you like NFL, watch NFL. If you got groceries to do, if you got chores, get them done. So I just wanted to let everybody know I'm wishing you guys a great Sunday. Come with it, Corey. I appreciate you calling in from Dothan. Come with it, man.
Yeah, man, that hat though, man. I like that hat too, man.
Yeah. I knew. Look. Yeah, I don't know if this hat's going to be available anymore. I bought in when it was low. I was like, look, I was like, are you serious? I was like, I got to get this. I've never seen a hat like this. And now everybody's asking for the hat. Look, I've been telling people, I was like, man, I just didn't know this. I'm man enough to admit that I didn't know. Like, I knew Ryan Williams would be like that guy, but I didn't know it was going to be like this. Like, I asked at the beginning of the season, you think he catch for 500 yards? The dude's almost done it in 4 games.
This guy is like a unicorn, man.
Yeah.
The way he can stop on time and the way he can just accelerate just so fast, man. Oh my God. It's like, hey man, can they stop just putting Ohio State and LSU as wide receiver U, and man, you let us get some love.
Mm-hmm. This is it. Like there was the rideouts that kind of like set the standard, and you look to all of the great Alabama wide receivers, right, dating back to Julio Jones, Amari Cooper, the Jerry Judys, the Henry Ruggs, Jalen Waddle. Like, this guy is there, but he's taking it somewhere else. Like, which is crazy. Ed Kelly's saying that Williams is averaging 19 yards per catch.
a baller, man. He a freaking baller, man. And and you know, just for them, like the way they just put Georgia before the game, like you said, man, I think Alabama fans were the only ones that knew, like, bro, Georgia wasn't gonna do us like they wanted them to. Man, come on, man. Georgia ain't never did us like that. Bro, we are a great team against Georgia. I knew it. I just thought it was gonna be close, like maybe 24-17 game. But I knew they wasn't gonna win that game, bro.
Yeah, I had it 31-17, and I said what I wouldn't be surprised if Alabama like really beat Georgia, like a 35-10 or something like that, kind of ran away with it. I didn't expect it to be 28-0 or whatever it was. And then I was like, I did not expect Georgia to come back. Not at all. I thought they might like kick a field goal, maybe a touchdown, whatever. I didn't expect them to take the lead. I was like, oh my goodness. Like I get a lot of respect for Georgia, even more so than I had. And Carson Beck, look, that guy had the worst first half. 2 interceptions. He had a roughing the passer, which turned into a safety call. And the guy battled back to be able to will his team to lead Alabama at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Like that's a warrior. Like that's a warrior.
Well, Kyle, man, when you get up a lead like that, man, it's so hard to keep that lead, man. But it's more easier to to make a comeback, to play from behind.
Yeah.
And that's why I think they kind of let off the gas a little bit. But one more thing, man, do it kind of scare you sometimes the way Jaylen Milroe take off, man, a lot.
I think we reached the point to where like Jaylen Milroe can just do whatever he wants to do. Like it's kind of like a Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't question it. You just like sit back and like let it happen because he's a playmaker. So you look, if it's a designed run, if it's a pass and he sees something, like he's the guy. He's the guy at Alabama. And for people that don't think that he's not the best player in college football, you're twisted. Like you're seeing something else. Like what he did last night, if he capitalizes, if he continues, like his trend is now skyrocketing. Like that performance last night was the best performance that he's ever had. Throwing the football, running the football. Like
the throw to Jam Miller was just a chef kiss.
Man.
It was just a chef.
And you know what? The crazy thing is Jam Miller's caught 2 touchdown passes against Georgia. Remember, he caught a touchdown pass last year in the SEC title game. Yeah, that was a chef kiss, man. I appreciate you, Corey, man. Roll Tide team, man. All right, but 3, we'll do. We got a couple more calls to run through. So when you call in, make your points, and we'll run through them. So 317. I appreciate you calling in. Who am I online with and where you calling in from?
What's up, Kyle? It's Marcus, man, from St. Pete.
Marcus, what's up, man? I appreciate you calling in, man. Thanks for calling in this morning on this beautiful Sunday, September 29th, man. Come with it, man. I appreciate your constant support of the show. Go ahead, Marcus.
First off, I want to say this is what it looks like when 2 juggernauts go at it.
Yeah.
This was a fight. This was like a clash of titans.
Yep.
Kalen, the coach DeBoer, is now 108-12 in his career, 13-2 against top-ranked opponents. Coach Smart is now 1-6 against Bama. So it poses a question you have to ask: who runs the SEC? Who sets the standard again?
Yeah.
Like seriously. Everybody keeps talking about how the dynasty is dead, and I try not to use that phraseology, but if the dynasty is dead, they sure did kill a king last night.
Man.
Are you kidding me? And my biggest question is, what effect does this have on recruiting now for both programs? What do you think, Kyle? How do you think this is going to affect? Because I know over 100 recruits were at that game last night.
Yep. Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up, man. That's something that I didn't even talk about. I think the impact of that game last night you saw Daryl Johnson, he was one of the first to come out and say he's locking it down. He's committed to Alabama. I think you're probably going to hear more of that continued. This is the school. Like what they're doing now on a recruiting front, where they're going. Like Kalen DeBoer is catapulting off the foundation, which is already completely stable to go somewhere else. Like, he is that guy. Like, Courtney Morgan is that guy to be able to see Alabama play on that stage in front of 100 recruits, man. And I come back to the in-state recruits that have committed to Auburn over Alabama. I always do. Derek Smith was in action last night. You imagine being committed to Auburn, right? And you're losing again. Auburn was winning 21-10 in the fourth quarter against Oklahoma. They allow 17 points and Oklahoma wins the game, right? Like, the direction of the two programs could not be, like, they're so different. And I mean, from a recruiting perspective, I mean, Justice Terry, I know he didn't get to make the game because his game got pushed back to Saturday. I think he still has a tough decision because as Alabama, I would imagine they finished out with the number one class, but you got to have some respect for Georgia and what they did and from a coaching standpoint. But man, Kalen DeBoer and his staff, like, they're it. They're not going anywhere. What they did last night, I think, echoes across 2025, 2026, 2027. And you look at all the notoriety and the focal point, like, look who was going to the game last night. Like, look at the ratings. It's not like this isn't Virginia Tech. This isn't Miami. Like, what is happening here isn't happening anywhere else in college football. Like, this is the place still. Go ahead, Marcus.
I'll let you get to the other callers, man. I just wanted to make sure that I wanted to say I hope everybody's okay from the hurricane. Like, we were perfectly fine here in St. Pete, where our house is at. Miraculously, by the will of God or whatever, we didn't lose power, nothing crazy like that. But did you know that Ryan Williams kid is 17 years old? Freshman in Alabama. Jesus. I think there should be a drinking game invented, and every time somebody mentions that kid's age, you take a shot. If that happens, nobody's going to complete an Alabama.
Nobody
game.
would be driving.
Every 5 minutes, the kid makes the play. They mention his age.
I know. I saw it in the 7. Yeah. I think we might have to put an emoji 17, right? That might be another one that we put in there.
Yeah. Real quick, I did see the post-game locker room speech that Coach DeBoer gave to his players, and he called up Xavier Brown and Ryan Williams, 2-2.
Yep.
And he was just like, man, we got a lot of guys who make plays, but these two right here, these guys are some ballers. And I'm like, heck yeah, they are.
Oh, yeah. Think about it. He has those guys for three more years. Right, the rest of the season, next season, the season after, like
unfair. And if you want to know why Georgia kept going for it on fourth down, it's because Georgia knew they were playing that they had to play from behind. You can't.
Yeah, that's true.
Georgia wasn't going to get back into the game by going 3 and out and then punting. They knew after the second half. I told my girl, I was like, Georgia's going for it for fourth down every single time, and I knew Coach Smart was going to tell them every 4 downs. Every time we get the ball, it's 4 downs. We got house money. Like, scared money don't make money. You got to go out there and risk it for the biscuit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt.
But that was a hell of a game last night. A hell of a game. A lot of props to Carson Beck for being able to battle back, and a lot of props to those freshmen just playing for Alabama, because those guys got battle tested last night. A lot of people said our secondary was going to be a glaring weakness. I kind of subscribe to that crowd as well, but I have way more confidence in them now that they've been battle tested against a Carson Beck, who's probably going to be one of the best quarterbacks Alabama's defense is going to face.
Yep.
And those guys made some big plays when necessary. And Xavier Brown, that kid is legendary now in my book.
That was a play that Georgia, it's another memory burn in Georgia's mind. Think about that. What memory burn you want? You want Devontae Smith? You want the Jaylen Milroe running it in? Do you want, how about Xavier Brown? That's a new memory burn, man. So,
yeah.
But those, you know what?
You want second and 26.
But but that program, they have one of those things from Men in Black. What is it that like shoots the memory? Nicole, what's up? I see you inside the comment box.
Oh,
what was it called?
It's like the neuralizer, or whatever. The neuralizer or something like that.
So last night, Kirby Smart went back and he was like, everybody who's a Georgia fan, look, and he just, what is it called? The neuralizer?
Yeah, I think so. They just wiped everybody's memory. Oh yeah, it was a great game. We tied with Bama.
All right, man. Appreciate you calling in. Thanks, bro. See ya. All right.
Absolutely, man. Have a great Sunday. Roll Tide.
All right, roll Tide to you. I'm glad you're safe too, man. Mark is calling to us from St. Pete's. Like I said, if you guys were affected by the storm, let us know how we can help you, even if it's just thoughts and prayers. We appreciate you guys being here. The neuralizer. Remember the Men in Black? You know what? Men in Black #2 was even okay. But I liked the first Men in Black. It was cool. All right, 502 and then 678, and then I need to go to the grocery store. Before these NFL games, I still got to set my fantasy football lineup. 502, let's do it. Yeah, I appreciate you calling in. You're on line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle, this is Mike from Kentucky. What's going on, brother?
Mike from Kentucky, man. Mike, it's so good to hear from you. Thank you so much for calling in. Were you impacted by the storm? Was there anything up in that direction? And quickly, are you doing all right? Because we haven't heard from you in a little while.
I'm doing good, man. Yeah, we had 2 days of straight, steady, light rain.
Okay.
Residual rain from it, but nothing, no high winds or nothing like that.
Okay. All right.
But let's get right to it, man, so you can get to the store. When people were talking last summer that we got a 17-year-old kid coming in that thinks he's going to take over, I didn't believe a word of that. There ain't nobody that good. But what's it going to take to cover this kid? Batman? You can put Batman on him, dude, and Batman get his ass scored on, bro.
Yeah, cooked.
This kid, I mean, I was miffed that when they said, like, I'm coming for Devontae. Wow. I mean, what can you say, bro? This kid ain't human. He's extraterrestrial or something, bro. He's from another quadrant or something from outer space. I've never seen anybody that had concentrational skills on tip balls, just body position, body English, footwork. He's ridiculous, man. I'll tell you, that game took a couple years off my life.
I know. I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that too, because towards the end of the game, I was getting a little excited. I was like, got to keep the blood pressure in check. Like, this is getting pretty serious when they took the lead, and then Alabama takes the lead back. It's like, man, the college football season, we're in it. But yeah, Ryan Williams, in terms of like the body control and how he's able to do it. And the crazy thing is, it just hasn't been this game. It's been every single game thus far. He continues to make a big play. He's clearly wide receiver #1. And I said he's the best wide receiver in college football. He's not the best freshman. I think he's the best wide receiver in which is crazy to say because he's only 17. All right, take a shot. If you're
I've never believed it, man. Well, I'm gonna get off, okay, brother. Right. Roll Tide. Good talking to you.
Yeah, call again. All right, see you, Mike. All right, Mike out in Kentucky, 678. You're up next. Hey, thanks for catching us on the back end. What's going on? Who am I on the line with? Where are you calling in from?
Hey, what's going on, Kyle? This is Donald over in Jacksonville, Florida, man.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing, man? I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Thanks for calling in from Jacksonville. I need to get out there sometime. My mom used to work out in Jacksonville. And, my buddy, he's gone. He used to grow up there. He would he always goes on vacations in Ponte Vedra. I've never been out there. I'd love to go check it out. But anyways, man, come with it. Thanks for calling in from Jacksonville, man. Happy Sunday.
Yes, sir. Hey, one word I want to start with, divine intervention, man. I was watching that game start to finish. Chat with one of my friends, Georgia fan, and I said, dude, this is going to be a great game. And then, we score first drive, score second drive, score third drive, score fourth drive. And he's like, bro, he was like, this game is over. You guys are going to go up 70-something to 0. I said, dude, this game is not over. And it's crazy that I spoke that into existence because, dude, we start pushing. We get into the second quarter. And when that pass interference call happens, I'm like, it's not meant for us to run away with that game. Because had that been a good call, dude, guarantee we get at least 3, if not 7. And that game is out of the, out of the way. And as I continue to watch into the third quarter, it takes them, 15 plays, almost 9 minutes. And I start getting nervous. And we get the ball back. We move down the field. And I think on that first drive, we throw it to Dupree. Either him or somebody else drops that pass where we could have converted into a first down. We punt. We get the ball back again. I think we get into the red zone. We throw it to Dupree again. He juggles the ball, and now it's an interception. And I'm like, man, it's just not meant for us to run away with the game. But, the way I saw it, I was like, this team grew up a lot last night. And they learned so much about themselves, and same with Georgia. It built character. And just watching Jaylen Milroe throw that ball to Jam, throw it to Ryan, throw it to Dupree. I think Bernard got a pass. it was exciting, man. It was fireworks. And I think you watched or listened to Josh Pate, but he said the same thing. He alluded to it earlier in the week. He was like, bro, this is going to be a shootout. It's going to be fireworks all game.
Yeah.
And it indeed happened.
Mm-hmm.
And like that gentleman said earlier, this being a tight game was much better for the team than a blowout. And we haven't even hit the tip of the iceberg yet. So what does that leave for the rest of the season? I'm just like, man, we are on a trajectory that only leads to greatness. But I'm proud of the team, regardless of what people said, regardless of what people thought, man, it was a killer. And it's always amazing to speak with guys like you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for calling in today. I hope you have a good rest of your Sunday, man. Call again anytime, man. I appreciate the call from Jacksonville. Thank you so much, man.
Yes, sir. Have a good one. You be blessed.
All right, you too, man. All right, fam. I appreciate you guys joining the show today on Sunday, September 29th. I got more videos coming. You can follow us on, Facebook as well. We got a very active Facebook account. Same thing on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. On Instagram, it's just Mr. Kyle Henderson. Basically just, like workout videos, like inspirational type stuff. I appreciate any type of support. Thank you for being a super chat member or super chats during the show, being a fan funder, or just being here watching the show and thumbs up. Please remember to support the players. These hats and this apparel, they go back to the players. So now that you can support the players, go to Athletes Thread. I'm not sponsored by them, but I do want to. I support the players, and you should too, obviously, for obvious reasons. Get the likes up on these videos. I appreciate you guys. Honestly, like, have a good day. Be a good person. Enjoy your thing called life. Like, this is beautiful. Like, what happened last night, man, that was it. Like, this is college football. Like, we are in the season, and to be able to see these guys rise up in the fourth quarter, man, that is amazing. And credit to the players, the coaching staff, the fans. And you know what? The fans have been so welcoming to Coach Kalen DeBoer. And he deserves, like, I don't know, more than a pat on the back. Like, this guy, it was the right guy for the job. And to see him flourish is amazing. I love it for the players. I love it for Xavier Brown, a guy that was definitely tested, challenged to be able to rise up, have that next play mentality, and be able to come with the interception. Jaylen Milroe, my goodness, this guy, he is it. He has been it. Ryan Williams. And, of course, the offensive line for not allowing a sack last night. Credit to them against the Georgia Bulldogs. Game balls, Jahad Campbell, Damani Jackson, Deontay Lawson. Man, these guys came with it last night against Malachi Moore. I thought he played a really good game as well. That was an epic college football game. Glad the Alabama Crimson Tide came out on top. As news happens, I got you covered right here on Bama Football on YouTube. More videos throughout the day. Tomorrow, my big show is at 10 a.m. Central Time, and I'll take you all the way to Coach Kalen DeBoer as Alabama sets a tone now towards Vanderbilt, a team that I think is punching above their weight. I think Alabama's Jarvis said it inside the comment box. I think they opened as a 24-point favorite. We'll have injury updates on Kendrick Law, Tim Keenan, if they are updates from Coach Kalen DeBoer. So we'll keep you posted as news happens. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy yourself, and I'll catch you soon. Thank you so much. I have so much gratitude for each and every one of you. Honestly, thank you so much. From beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Catch you soon. Oh, top 25 rankings should be dropping soon. I don't know. This team, they're going to be up there.